In just 2 days, President Trump's sweeping tariffs on goods across the globe are officially set to take effect. Their
In just two
implementation
days.
has the director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, telling the American people to relax, that the quote tariff
Relax,
uncertainty
folks.
period is behind us.
We ain't in
But
no
for a lot of
trouble.
business owners, the future is still very much uncertain as they navigate this new economic era, trying to figure out exactly what it means for their businesses, their employees, their livelihoods moving forward.
It's not good.
One Detroit auto supplier says he's going to have to lay off employees and close a warehouse because of the president's tariffs. Joining us now is the CEO of Detroit Axle, Mike Mushanish. Mike, thank you so much for being here with us this
CEO.
morning. I really appreciate it. You have a family-owned business.
Let me guess. You're an auto parts maker for Jeep and Dodge Ram. Yeah, you probably fixing to close your door, sir.
I believe your dad started it. You took over. Walk people through the impact on your business right now.
Oh, so you got handed that business just like Trump did, and now you're about to run it into the ground. Yeah, don't be mad at Trump's tariffs, buddy. Okay, you got the daddy hand-me-down deal just like he did.
The impact has been extreme. I mean, I'd like to put it in context here. The first Trump administration, he levied tariffs. Back then, if we were to receive $1 million in products, we would pay $25,000 in tariffs. And today, for
That's
the
nothing.
same $1 million in products, we're looking to pay $725,000 in
Yeah,
tariffs
yeah,
to
you're
the
gonna be
federal
out of
government.
business.
Wow.
Incredibly
So
devastating.
So what does that mean for you practically?
you're done. He's
Practically,
done. Yes.
it's you try to source products from different countries. So, and a drop of a dime, it's almost impossible to do. But we've done so. So we went to India to procure products from there, trying to save our.
Those products are garbage, trash. That's why your cars ain't worth nothing. That's why they're falling to pieces as soon as you drive them off the lot. Telling you straight up. Okay, he's cutting cost
Consumers' money.
at
And
your
now
expense.
India is hit with tariffs. I mean, auto parts are the most heavily tariffed commodity out there at 72.5%. Also, we had operation in Mexico where we leveraged the de minimis exemption, and that also, at a drop of a hat, gone. So everywhere we turn, we're starting to see more and more roadblocks. So it's been quite discouraging.
And so where does this leave you?
Trying to get rid of the automakers, in case you hadn't noticed.
You may have to lay people off. Are you worried about keeping your business?
Well, of course. I mean, our people that work for us are the ones who made the company. I'd like to say that when we gave the notice to the state of Michigan, we started to draft it back in May. Now, I mean, the world has changed. We've seen that our industry as a whole has increased pricing dramatically. We've seen that other competitors, perhaps, smaller or medium-sized competitors, have actually exited the market. So as it stands now, we have picked up more customers than ever before because of the woes of others. So now we don't plan to lay off anybody just because of the simple fact that there's been dozens and dozens that have exited the market already prior to us even considering it. So, yeah,
That don't mean that you won't lay off in the future. Your time just hasn't come yet.
it's challenging times for many distributors and manufacturers since we also produce products, and that's also costing us more for the internal components to produce them.
I'm curious if you could speak to President Trump. What would you tell him?
And you don't say nothing to Donald Trump, man. You're gonna kiss his ass just like everybody else. You're a business owner. Come on, man, please. I want you to listen to his comments and how soft he is on Trump. He don't say shit.
I'm a supporter of the idea of reshoring our industry back to the U.S. I mean, it gets to the point where there's absolutely nothing produced here in this country, which is very dangerous. So setting the atmosphere and the environment conducive for entrepreneurs to be able to build and produce is important. And having the federal government help initiate that is very important. But none of that was done. all that I see done was just you slam the tariff button. And I mean, once upon a time, 3 months ago, we were paying $700,000 in tariffs, and now we're north of $7 million a month in tariffs. So all that revenue that was once used for investments and machinery and employment is all gone, and Uncle Sam owns it now. So give us time, set the environment so we can produce these products here, and we're ready to serve, Mr. President.
Yeah. Look, oftentimes the president himself, they've said there's going to be short-term pain, that they believe long-term this will be better, that it really won't be that bad.
How? How is it going to be better long term? I mean, if that's not smoke up your ass, I don't know what is, because they're not giving you no examples of, oh, it's going to be better long term, and this is how.
Or that customers aren't going to have to pay for this, or even if they do, it won't be that bad. It won't be that bad for small business owners. But what you're describing sounds quite challenging.
Of course, I mean, we run on small margins. The factories we procure from run on small margins. So who's left to pick up the tab? Except the consumer.
Right. All right. Mike.
Did he say consumer? Like me and you? Yeah, that's what he said.
Mike, thank you so much. Good luck to you. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks
for
nothing.
The Trump administration, when they launched these tariffs, talked about two things. One, manufacturing, bringing those jobs back. They also talked about their concerns about immigration.
They ain't bringing shit back, bro. I mean, that's smoke up your ass. That's more smoke.
For example, and having leverage over other countries in that conversation, and jobs here at home. Does the data give any indication on where they are making progress on those issues?
Yeah, that's a good question. To separate them out a little bit, the decline of manufacturing jobs is part of a longer term trend, and quite a normal one because the sector keeps getting more and more productive over time. But manufacturing jobs had essentially flatlined, for about a half a year going into Liberation Day. And since then, they've actually resumed their slide. So the explicit call for more manufacturing jobs as a basis, as a rationale for the tariffs, that simply hasn't worked out. I think the sector has lost some 30 or 40,000 jobs roughly in the last 4 months. In terms of immigration, this is interesting because it's worth noting that for all the attention that's been given to deportations and undocumented immigration, it's also the case that we're putting up barriers to legal immigration. And so preliminary, and everything is preliminary at this point, estimates are that net immigration levels are going to fall this year and possibly next year. And that does have an effect on the economy. It means that the labor force isn't going to be as big as it otherwise would have been. And eventually that also strains the capacity of the overall economy to grow as well. So that is absolutely something that I think, requires a little bit more attention, and it's going to be worth following in the coming years.
All right, Cardiff, thank you so much for speaking.
I think he's saying the automotive industry is done. Pick a fork in that automotive industry. Okay.
With us.
Thanks, Audie. A pleasure.
President Trump says he will most likely have a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping before the end of the year, unless they fail to reach a trade agreement. He says he's optimistic about making a deal with China, but that it's not imperative. Meantime, Trump says he'll increase tariffs on India, quote, very substantially in the next 24 hours, a firmer timeline than he has threatened previously. Well, last week, Trump said he'd impose a minimum 25% tariff on goods from India, set to take effect by the end of this week. And earlier on CNBC, he voiced his displeasure with India buying Russian oil.
We do.
This is what you voted for. Okay. Man. Welcome to 2025, guys. Okay. As we watch the world collapse around us.
Very, very little business with India because their tariffs are so high. So India has not been a good trading partner because they do a lot of business with us, but we don't do business with them. So we settled on 25%, but I think
business with anybody. We don't sell nothing to nobody. Buy everything. Everything is imported here. We don't sell nothing to nobody. And it's been that way for decades. Okay?
I'm going to raise that very substantially over the next 24 hours because
Well, nobody want to buy shit that we make here. It costs way too much to make it. And the workers are tired of being slaves.
they're buying Russian oil, they're fueling the war machine, and if they're going to do that, then I'm not going to be happy.
Well, let's go to CNN business and politics correspondent Vanessa Ukevich. Great to see you, Vanessa. So Trump there, of course, threatening secondary sanctions on India if it continues to buy Russian oil, but also saying that he's very close to a trade deal with China. What can you tell us?
They're not going to stop buying Russian oil. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, and he says that if a trade deal is reached with China, then he will meet with the Chinese president later this year, but saying if there's no deal, that meeting is off the table, but certainly signaling that there has been progress. He says they have a good relationship with China. You know, if you remember, we are coming up on that 90-day pause expiration on August 12th. We started 90 days ago with the U.S. and China lowering tariff rates to 30% and 10% respectively, and there was that meeting last week between U.S. and Chinese trade representatives in Stockholm. No deal.
Trade war. That's what this is. And it's not going to end anytime soon.
Details in terms of inching closer to a deal. We did hear from U.S. trade representatives who said that there's still more work to be done on rare earth minerals, making sure those are coming out of China. China controls about 95% of production, and they're used for things like computers, electric vehicles, military aircraft. Also, they're wanting to make sure that China moves away from being a manufacturing economy, so talking about exports, and moving towards a consumer economy, moving closer to imports. But that August 12th date is obviously coming up very soon. Listen, tariffs could certainly rise dramatically, but all indications are that that deadline actually may be moved yet again. So there's more time, Linda, for the two sides to work out a trade deal.
That's just weak. That's a sign of weakness. Every time you move that line, it's a sign of weakness. Okay? Letting you know now. Listen, guys, we're in some serious trouble, man. And everybody knows it. That's why every time you turn on the internet, this is what you see. Yep. All right, folks. This is a good video. Yep. More doom and gloom for the car market. Ooh. Listen, the housing market is next. My next video. All right. Stop it right here. Yeah, buddy.